Welcome back to That Fight Card Podcast with the latest and most in-depth news in the MMA community. Hosted by sPidA.
Hello everybody, it's sPidA here at the Fight Card Podcast, coming to you from San Antonio, Texas. It is December 8th, and I have a guest in the studio, man, Richard Odoms. Richard, man, how are you, bro?
I'm doing great, doing fantastic, man.
My man, the last time I had you here, man, you were actually getting ready for your fight. This was for FuryFC. Mm-hmm. Now, I know going up to the fight, man, I mean, as far as your training, everything was good, right? I mean, you were in the best condition to you know...
Yeah, I feel I was in pretty good shape. I was more than good shape. I was in good shape for 5 rounds. 5 rounds, you know, you got a 5-round fight, you gotta put it out there. I think that, you know, specifically, I think I should have been more doing certain things. There was just certain opportunities of training that I didn't just been able to get, but cardio wise, I was good to go.
No, and of course, I mean, you were fighting the big guy in Richard Odoms, man. I mean, going into the fight, there's a lot of stuff that happened that week up, man. I mean, one of them, of course, we talked about it earlier, and you have posted it on your page, man, was your vehicle breaking down. This was like the day after weigh-ins, right?
It was the weigh-in day. Right after we weighed in, my vehicle broke down, so I had to kind of gut it up and grab the kids and park the vehicle, and we had a 3-mile hike back to the house.
And that was your workout, right?
Yes,
might as
sir.
well, man.
Yes, sir. On the day.
No, for sure, man. And of course, I mean, the same thing, man, with social media. I mean, you have put it out there, man. But I mean, the wife was in the hospital that week up.
Yes.
And of course, she had tested positive for COVID. She's at home now, resting.
Yeah,
of
she's
course.
at home now, still on oxygen, but you know, it is what it is.
No, yeah, and of course, I mean, during the it's fight week, man, and you're thinking, okay, you know, the world is burning around you, and here you are. You know, I gotta ask, but I mean, did that affect you come fight night?
I think, you know, I try to put it off like it wasn't going to affect me, but I think it did play a big factor in the fight. Just my head wasn't right that night, you know. No,
and I mean, dude, as always, bro, because every time I see you fight, man, I mean, I don't want to say a lot of people underestimate you, but it just seems like people kind of hold off and don't see. But I mean, round 1, man, you're fighting Richard Odoms, and you actually got a turn. You know, you got a reversal.
Yeah.
You flipped the guy over, and I was thinking, oh shit, it's over. I mean, it was towards the end of the round, so unfortunately, you know, they stopped it. But I mean, when you got that reversal, man, what were you thinking? I mean, were you like, okay, let's
I was like, I like to get this over with. Especially because the wrestling. I expected the wrestling. I expected, you know, takedowns, things like that, and it just ended out the way it ended out. You know, Juan he's crafty. As far as his takedowns and things like that, when you think about wrestling and top line wrestling, you think about good shoots and, you know, he got his head up doing all kind of different things with his hands in order. Man, this is the sloppiest takedowns ever. The sloppiest takedowns ever, but hey, it worked.
No,
you know,
yeah.
So what works, it works, you know, and you can't fault that situation. But I was prepared for a different type look.
Right.
And when it changed up on me, that's when it was like it was hard to deal with.
No, and I mean, of course, he did get the takedown, man. I mean, he was able to control the first round, basically having the mount position. But I mean, you know, when you reversed him after that, you know, during that round 1, I thought to myself, like, okay, this is gonna either make him or break him, because he could have easily been like, shit, man, this guy, you know what I mean? So, I mean, round 2, of course, started the same thing, man. I mean, he had you against the cage and, you know, went for the takedown again. Like you said, it was. I don't want to say it was sloppy, because I can't shoot in either, man. But I mean, it was effective.
Yeah,
you know,
it was effective enough to get the job done.
Yeah. And of course, I mean, he took you down. I mean, the whole time he had the mount, even in round 1. I mean, he was able to land strikes, and of course, it affected your eye. I mean, you got a big swell over your eye.
Yeah.
And I know Golasso, man. Of course, he was reffing that fight, and I kept looking at him, thinking like, man, is he gonna stop it, or is he gonna, you know? But I mean, you got to give props to the guy. I mean, he got the win that night. You definitely won. You got to go home and, you know, to, check on the wife, of course.
Yeah.
You know, she was, was she still in the hospital that day?
She was still in the hospital. I want to say she stayed another week Yeah, another week in the hospital. That's a whole different ball game, bro.
Yeah, no, yeah, man. Because now you get to go home and you still got kids. It's not like you can just go home and be like, all right, well, I'm not gonna do nothing, But I mean, the kids are hungry and
can't just go home and just rest.
Yeah.
that was a good day to kind of reality hit me. I'm like, normally you go home, I chill, everything's good to go. I ain't gotta worry about anything. My wife takes over for everything. Shoot. As soon as I walked out of the ring, it was daddy clock in type situation, and I'm having to make meals and do this and do that. So it wasn't over for me. And
I gotta ask you, man, was it hard making sandwiches with one eye, man, or were you still able to open that other eye, bro?
Yeah, it was hard making sandwiches. I can tell you that much. My eye was pretty much closed that day, and I didn't think it was that bad. And then I looked in the mirror and saw it. Oh my God!
They were like, damn, it is pretty bad. No, I mean it was painful to watch, man. Yeah. I mean, as far as like I said, I mean he kept that position. He kept landing that hammer fist because that's all, I mean, as far as what he could do from that position. But going into round two, man, I mean, what was the corner guys telling you, man? I know Pete Sprout was there, but
yeah, he was telling me to keep my distance. Telling me to keep my distance. Telling me to just the normal stay away from the takedown type situation. Keep it standing. Keep my distance. Use my length in order to make sure that he had something else that he had to do in order to close that gap. I don't know. And as far as me, I was like, man, I came in there first round, second round's gotta be me, and I feel like I waited a lot. I hesitated a lot on the second and third round. It was crazy. So I don't know if it was more of energy to see. I thought I had wasted him the first round, and he was on top the whole entire time. Right. So I felt like he was working when he came out the second round. He was kind of paused out. So I was like, I'm always looking at the last round type situation. Right. So sometimes as a fighter you get kind of caught up with your energy expenditure. So instead of me kind of like running at him the second, third round, I kind of coasted those rounds and kind of laid out for that round, thinking that I would just wear him down for the next two rounds and then turn it up the last two rounds, and it had never took place.
It didn't happen, man. Yeah. I mean, he did get the win on round 4, right?
Yes.
It was the fourth round.
Yes.
Now, I mean, I think they were starting that round, and I remember looking up to your corner, man, and I mean, Pete was like, because he was talking to you, yeah. So I mean, that's when you guys were like, okay, yeah, that's it. I mean, so I mean, I know it's had to hurt. Yeah. I mean, of course you don't want to lose, man, but I mean, like I said, you went home that day to your family, so I mean, you won either way, man, and now, man, I mean, you have a fight coming up, and this is going to be for the guy that Austin Lane, the guy that actually just lost to the same opponent, but
yes.
I mean, have you been training since you stopped, or are you just like now in fight camp?
No, I didn't. I've been training. I always train because it's if I'm not, I have to be half in decent shape in order to do police work.
Right.
Because they never know when something's going to go bad, and then you're going to have to either run or do whatever, and then you're going to end up a fight, or it's a tricky situation. So you have to always kind of be in somewhat type of good shape. Fight shape is something totally different.
Right. No, yeah, definitely, man.
But no.
And of course, I mean, being a law enforcement, I mean, you're here, San Antonio police officer here locally, of course. But like you said, man, I mean, you got to stay in shape. You also teach. So how does, I mean, I'm still, because I mean, I do a lot, and but I don't work out like 3-4 times a day, and so how is it that you get to rest, man?
I was finding little pockets, man. That's where I do my resting. So yeah, and getting older, it's becoming more and more difficult to get things accomplished, get things done. So life is always a test.
Right.
So it's always a struggle, and as long as I'm able to maintain that struggle, I should be good to go.
No, and let me ask you this, man, because obviously, I mean, we had talked about this before, and when you made your debut into MMA, I mean, you didn't even get to test out the waters for amateur, man. They just threw you in there with the pros.
Yeah.
And I mean, when that happened, I mean, of course, initially you go back, man, and you're thinking, okay, I'm gonna try this out and see if it works. I mean, was there anything back then that you were kind of like, yeah, I don't want to do this, or was everything still like, yeah, I'm gonna keep trying?
I wanted to do it. I just know I needed more experience. I needed more experience on the ground, which was one of the major factors, because I came into the whole thing as a stand-up fighter. I was a professional boxer. I did kickboxing. I had did taekwondo. And with all that's all stand up. You know, you're never on the ground. You're on the ground. You're
Knocked out.
Yeah, it's gone. It's done. It's over.
Looking up, trying to get up, man.
Yeah. So with that being said, a lot of the ground nonsense is something that I didn't really put in a lot to, and now it's like catching up. Now it's catching up. Now we're playing catch up, trying to catch it up to the skill level that I have as far as stand up.
Right.
You know, feels good.
And I gotta ask this, man, because I mean, of course, you know, you do train with Pete Spratt, and a lot of what I see in Pete Spratt's guys is if it goes to the ground, it's getting back up. I mean, is that kind of the same game with you when it comes to a fight?
And we've been working a lot of that. A lot of that lately has been a lot more along the lines of the wrestling and things like that, and getting back up and controlling the wrestling game and the clinch game and things like that. So, yeah, these are a lot of things that as a camp, as from Pete, that we're working to improve ourselves in. I feel stand up wise, I feel like it was just a kickboxing match, you know,
all day,
all day.
No, you see, and I gotta ask this too, because the last time we talked, of course, it was for your fight for Fury, of course, but you didn't have Aaron Rosa helping you that time.
Oh, yeah.
Are you able to train with the guy this time?
Aaron's fighting on this next card, so, man, bro, I feel blessed beyond means. Blessed beyond means. Anytime Aaron's in the house, man, I love that guy. I can't tell you much more about that situation. He makes me better. I make him better. We're brothers, man. We're two peas in a pod. And with that being said, you know, I don't get that quality time with any other heavyweights that I run into or I can find or anything along those lines. But Aaron, man, he's always been my brother for years since this whole thing started, man. And as long as I have him near, we're good.
No, for sure, man. And I mean, and I got to bring this up also, man, because you've been able to train with other gyms. I know you were out there with the guys from Fortis at one point just to go train. Yes. I mean, have you been able to go anywhere lately?
Well, as far as with family life and working, it just kind of makes it a little hard, make it a little difficult to get out. I would love to go to Fortis. Fortis is like 5 hours of 5-hour drive there, and then 5 hours back. So. When I did have that opportunity to come over there, man, it's such a beautiful thing, man. But the 10-hour drive is rough.
Oh yeah, man. Especially, I mean, you know, having to sit there in your car and get the, you know, I mean, it takes for me, that's just like taking a flight from here to Hawaii, man. It's gonna take me like 2 days just to recover, man. But let me ask you this though, man. I mean, as far as cardio, man, what kind of workouts do you do?
Me, as far as cardio, is more along the lines of, I mean, the jump rope is my big secret. That's one of the big things that I do. So the jump rope it helps out a lot. The other cardio thing I do is biking. I do a lot of that. Because running, I'm too old for running. Running is too much on the joints. And, And it's just boring to me. You ask me.
Yeah, what are you running for, man?
I ain't running for that.
What about swimming, man? Have you ever thought about working out, like getting like laps in, like in the pool? I mean, I heard it's a little bit less stressful. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, it's San Antonio, so we have swimming pools, but timing. So usually while the time that you have the swimming pools open, that's usually the time that I'm in the gym and I'm able to work and things like that.
You got to do something else, right? You're working out.
I got to figure something out.
And of course, I mean, we have the river walk down the street, but you know, you don't want to get in that, man. It's a little dirty, bro.
somebody go get bad. Somebody go get bad.
Oh yeah, that and God knows what's in there, right? But yeah, man. But I mean, man, I want to thank you, bro. I mean, of course, you said this fight is coming up. It's going to be on what day?
I believe it's the 6th of February.
And of course, for the new year.
Yes,
and are you looking to stay busy this new year?
Yes, I'm looking to stay busy this new year. You know, really, realistically, I think this next year is going to be my last year. I keep saying that, but
man, you're still here, man.
You know, I just don't get the opportunity to be like, about
they keep saying we got to fight, man.
It always boils down to, you know, I get fights and fights fall out and this doesn't happen, or I didn't feel busy enough. So if I didn't feel busy enough, you know, I got one fight. I can't just go out with one fight in 1 year. You know, I would like to get like 2 or 3 fights.
Stay
next
active,
year.
man.
And if it be the end, all right, it'd be the end, man.
And I'm gonna ask you right quick, man. I mean, this next fight, of course. I mean, like I was saying, Austin Lane. I mean, he lost to the same opponent as Juan Adams.
Mm-hmm.
If you get this win, are you thinking of getting a rematch back for the title, or after you get this win?
Title, rematch, whatever, man. I'm always game. I'm game for any heavyweight that's out there. So, with that being said, man, you know, like I said, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter to me. I'm game for anybody.
No, and I mean, of course, I mean, you're a contract with Fury, but I mean, of course, you got the Legacy title, which you've held at one point. I mean, there's a Titan FC up in Florida, you know, with the title out there, man. So, of course, if any promotion out there,
I would love to get with any of that nonsense.
Yeah, man, definitely keep you busy, like you said, man.
Yeah, they usually keep me in Texas, but anytime we go out, I feel like on the road I do a whole lot better when it comes to just mentally being in the game. Because, you know, you go and you travel, you have to travel. The reason why you're traveling is fighting. You're thinking about the fight all the time. You're in a hotel. You're not in somewhere that's familiar, and you got other things going on.
It's keeping you mentally busy, man.
So mentally is I love to be on the road, but you know, hey, I love being at home too.
No, of course, man. I mean, the thing about being on the road too, man, is after your fight, you don't have to go home and make sandwiches for the kids, man.
Exactly.
You know, but man, I do thank you, bro, and I mean, I hope to bring you back again. You know, before this fight does happen, man, on the January the 6th. Cool. But man, I thank you once again, everybody out there, man. That was Richard Odoms. Check him out on Facebook. He's got the his Facebook page, and so next time, man, this is sPidA. This is TheFightCardPodcast. Until next time, follow up.